She would rather the authorities think they had been abducted over them thinking she and Daniel has done something to them. But she seems so comfortable and so reassured within herself when she said
that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility, but they could have been.
That it is a possibility that they could have been. That is the narrative that she wants to push. 4 months ago, 2 kids from Nova Scotia went missing. We got Lilly and Jack Sullivan, 6 years old and 4 years old. It's never made sense how a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old wandered off and weren't seen by anyone, and 4 months later still haven't been found. There's 2 people, Daniel and Malaya, the parents, well, the stepfather and the biological mother. They're the only ones in the spotlight. Daniel's done multiple interviews. In fact, our last video was reacting to the interview that he done. Stepfather Daniel, he's let his voice be heard. He was involved in the searches. He's been working directly with the police. He's the one that's been doing all the interviews. It seems like he's been fully open and transparent to the point where it kind of eliminates him from the list of suspects and therefore only leaves one person. And that's the mother, Malaya. But there's a lot to get through, ladies and gentlemen. If you are newly watching, make sure you do subscribe. If you find value in this video, make sure you hit that like button. And be sure to turn your notification bells on. Just click on that bell, turn all notifications on so you don't miss out on future videos. So let's quickly recap and bring ourselves up to speed with what's actually happened with Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Friday the 2nd of May, 2025, 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack were reported missing from their home on Garlock Road in Nova Scotia. The initial alert suggested the children likely wandered from the residence. A massive group and air search began immediately. On the 7th of May 2025, after 6 days of no trace, RCMP scaled back their large area search while keeping the investigation active. On the 28th of May 2025, the investigators appealed for videos from the area, and they're referring to Garlock Road and the neighboring areas. So at this point, they're looking at all of the footage from the neighbors, door cam footage, webcam footage, any type of footage they can get their hands on. They wanted to analyze. And I believe all of the neighbors in that area handed in their CCTV, their webcams, their doorbell footage. They literally sent everything over to the police. On the 11th of June 2025, RCMP said their investigation was ongoing, noting 54 interviews, polygraphs administered to some people, hundreds of hours of video, and 488 tips. They emphasized all scenarios remain on the table. And that was back on the 11th of June. Just to remind you, as I record this, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 18th of August, and Lilly and Jack have still not been found yet. On the 19th of June 2025, the province added the case to its major unsolved crimes program, posting a reward of up to $150,000 for information of investigative value. So a massive reward was put on the table, £150,000, and no one come forward with any valuable information. Based on the story that we've been given, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old just wandered off either through the woods or up that long road. I mean, I have to say that area is extremely secluded. So when they get onto the main road outside their little estate, they've got a long walk, which means if they would have walked either way down that road, they would have been spotted by someone. Someone would have seen them. We're talking about a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. In my opinion, I don't believe they would have taken that trip. I don't believe they would have left the house, walked to the entrance of their little estate, and then walked up that road. I don't think they would have done that. Doesn't make any sense. It probably makes more sense for them to walk through the woods. But then when you look at the woods and you see the conditions within those woods and the fact that acres of those woods have been scoured and searched and not one drop of evidence proves they were even there. Allegedly, a footprint was discovered, but it was never confirmed on whether that footprint belongs to Lilly or Jack. On the 16th of July 2025, so we're skipping almost a month, the RCMP confirmed a pink blanket belonging to Lilly was undergoing forensic examinations. On the 2nd of August 2025, which is more or less 2 weeks later, 3 months on from the day they actually went missing, RCMP said there was no new public updates to announce. But the investigation still continued. Now that brings us up to the last update, which would have been on the 15th of August 2025, where it says RCMP told Global News they've received 700 plus tips, 5,000 video files, and interviewed 60 plus people. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, still no closer to understanding what happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. It makes you want to question now, what are the 700 plus tips? Are any of those tips worth any value? Because by the sounds of it, no. You then have 5,000 video files. 5,000 video files for what? Of what? I'm just really struggling to understand how the police haven't got any further with this case. It would have been interesting to get an update from the webcams and the door cam footage and any cameras along that road. Because if those cameras along that road and the doorbell and the webcam and the car cam footage hasn't produced anything, you have to start looking at the parents. Regardless if Daniel has passed this lie detector test, the person that has moved the shadiest is Malaya. So they're the kind of key points as to what's happened in this case so far. Anything else I forgot to mention could be the kids being seen the night before. They're still missing time to a degree when it comes to their side of the story and when it comes to the official narrative. When was the last time those kids were seen? The 1st of May they was officially seen, but anything could have happened after that time. According to the RCMP, they are claiming that there is no evidence to prove that the kids were abducted, but they claim that they have not ruled out any scenario, which is extremely weird because 4 months later, what are you doing? Do they just leave it and be like, okay, hopefully they pop up. Hopefully they show up. Yeah, hopefully these guys just come walking back through the woods and hey, everything's back to normal again. I don't know what these guys are thinking. It's been 4 months, so what is the play? What do you do next? And another thing that's questionable is the ground search that the RCMP did with the rescue dogs and the drones and all of the resources that they more or less used. They found no definitive direction of where those kids would have gone, which means they can't confirm if those kids walked anywhere from the house. It's one of the reasons why the main focus for the RCMP has led to it being more of a major crime-led investigation. So literally, it sounds like the RCMP and the authorities in general have hit a brick wall. They don't know what to do next. As it states, they are open to all scenarios, but they confirm that there's no evidence to prove that the kids have been abducted. How does one leave evidence of an abduction? Kids could have been lent to a car as if they were staying at their grandma's, like everything's normal, and voila, abduction. The number one suspect, in my opinion, is the mum. And we're going to go through a number of reasons as to why. Malaya broke up with her partner, Daniel, and decided to leave the property and go and stay with her mum. Make it make sense why you would break up with your partner when your children have gone missing. Instead of going to search for them, what you've done is you've broke up with your partner, packed your bags, and within a couple of hours, you're at your mum's and you're staying at your mum's. You've left Daniel to do all media coverage. Daniel's out there talking to all reporters, journalists, doing interviews, but Malaya's hiding away. The mother is hiding away. She's not saying anything. But then when the pressure comes on, she starts to speak. And she does what? One interview. Just the one.
Just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep, and they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them, and they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens, and they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And
let's just pause it right there 1 second, because it doesn't make any sense how she can have this story if she was sleeping. You wouldn't know if they were outside playing because you were sleeping. You can't say, oh, well, they were outside playing and you didn't know they were out there playing. What's also extremely weird about Malaya and the statements that she's made is that she's kind of painted a narrative to make it look like her children would walk off and go off with anyone and everyone. But what's extremely weird is in her initial interview right here, she says that if they go outside, we're always with them, as if to say we're overprotective because, there's strangers out here, there's dodgy people out here. Rightly so. Okay. But if that's your attitude and that's your mentality, why would your children think that it would be okay to go off with anyone? See, this is her first interview, ladies and gentlemen. This is where she's trying to paint the initial and official narrative for us. Her side of the story, what makes sense for her to not go to jail? What makes sense for me right now? Oh yeah, we fell asleep. They must have opened the sliding door. They was outside playing, but we didn't know they were outside playing because we were sleeping. What? Okay, go on, continue, Malaya.
the next thing we knew, it was quiet, and we get up and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, do you hear the kids?
Oh, so he's your partner. So I tell him, my partner, based on the story that she's given us so far, it sounds like they was fully consciously awake. They heard them playing outside. They heard them open up that door. They knew they went outside to play. And then it went all quiet. Literally, if she was sleeping, there's no way she could give us that detailed information. It doesn't make any sense.
And he says no, and we get up instantly. We're looking.
And again, I forgot to mention, in this interview is your partner, but you broke up with him instantaneously after your kids going missing and allowed him to do all of the media work. What's extremely weird is she went onto her Facebook account and decided to change her relationship status from being in a relationship to single. What? Are you meant to be out there looking for your kids? What's going on here? But that's what this lady done. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, there's a few other things that she's done. We ain't got there yet. We're going to get there. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're newly watching and don't go anywhere.
Outside, we're looking everywhere, yelling for them, and I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids.
Makes no sense. It seems that she's just building up a narrative, building up that narrative of they've possibly gone off with a stranger because they'll speak to anyone, or they've got into someone else's car and we don't know. But then even if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, how has the RCMP not been able to identify the cars that have been going up and down that road? How have they not been able to identify people that have gone up and down that road? Like, they've got specific information. They've got times. They know roughly when those kids left and where they possibly could have gone based on the area itself. They've searched the woods. No trace of the kids there. Taken all the CCTV, taken all of the webcam, taken everything that they could possibly analyze and look at. No trace of those kids whatsoever.
Appreciate the huge search effort going on right now. But we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know.
Says that. Do you see the way she says that? She says it, the tone of voice tells you all you need to know. It's like when she says that line, she seems so comfortable and reassured with that line. She would rather the authorities think they had been abducted over them thinking she and Daniel has done something to them. But she seems so comfortable and so reassured within herself when she said
that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been.
That it is a possibility that they could have been. That is the narrative that she wants to push. That is the narrative she wants the authorities and she wants the press and she wants the public to believe, that these kids have been abducted. I feel so much more comfortable with you thinking that rather than you thinking me and Daniel have done something to these kids. And you can hear it in her tone of voice, literally.
But just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful.
Both of them. I mean, it's so weird that you say both of them have autism. Both of them have difficulties catching up with the other kids. It's usually just the one. Like, one might have autism, or one might be slower than the other, or one might find it difficult to fit in with the other kids. But you're saying that both of your kids might have slight autism. Both of your kids find it difficult to learn at school. They're basically behind the other kids. It says a lot about the parenting, but not only that, we're talking about kids that are not confident. That's the kids that she's describing, kids that are not confident. The character traits and the personalities that she's painting just doesn't add up to what's happened here. What they claims happened here, that these kids have just opened the sliding door and they've wandered off. and have never been found after 4 months. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense. There is definitely so much more to this than meets the eye, ladies and gentlemen, and Malaya is 100% the number one suspect, in my opinion.
But there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds. And I don't want to go through that another night without them.
Honestly, when I heard that, I just felt like that was so fake.
Just staying as
I
hopeful.
felt like she just said that for the sake of saying it to make it look like she was missing her kids. But look, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A mysterious case that we just can't get over. And I don't think I can move on from this case. The only problem we are having is that the RCMP are not releasing that much information. All we can do is speculate based on the information that we already have. If you haven't seen the videos that we've already loaded in regards to Lilly and Jack Sullivan, make sure you go and check out the playlist. We have about 10 videos on there altogether. They're all the updates. And we just more or less went through a summary of what's actually taken place. We haven't done a video for at least a month and a half. So I thought by now there would be something new, a step closer to understanding what truly happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. But nothing. Absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. What I need from you guys right now is to comment down below. Let me know exactly what your thoughts are. I need to know exactly how you guys are feeling right now. So leave all of your thoughts, all of your comments, and all of your opinions down below. And this ain't over, ladies and gentlemen. We are at some point going to understand what happened to Lilly and Jack Sullivan. So I need you guys to turn your notification bells on so you don't miss out on future videos. Be sure to hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching. We've got plenty more content uploading, so you don't want to go anywhere. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.